So as you can see from that weather we had, it was absolutely joyful to be out there on the Saturday. Really enjoyed being soaked. Luckily my kit that I was wearing was quite good. So what I found with this helmet, I'll start with the bugbears and then I'll go through the other sides of it myself. So the visor, although the visor aperture is absolutely phenomenal and gives a really good like widescreen type image, what I've found is even with your gloves on, as you shut it down and you push, you can't get it to click. Now I don't know whether you can hear this, but if I hold this here and bring it a bit closer, you will get that extra click then. Okay, if you do this one-handed, you're not getting it. As you can see there, it's kind of pushed it out, and you try to push it that way and the screen just then flexes either side, and I have found that I needed to get here and push on the front to get it to click. So you have to go up, back down, and then click, which is an absolute pain when you're riding with your gloves on. So you either have to try and get two fingers on the front and pull it down, or try and get it to that point and push it in with your hand. So that's one of the things I found. Second one I found, on the pin lock, inside here, when I took it off to give it a clean, I didn't put it on correctly. So this is on me, but I didn't mount this flush of the side of the pin lock. So it created a bit of a gap, and as you can imagine, all this part here started steaming and misting up. When I had done the adjustment screws, thinking it was one of them, then I moved the pressure to the side of the middle of the helmet, and the visor started going down in streaks here. I've since took it off, had a look, readjusted the pins and made sure it's flush on both sides here and here when I mounted it, put it all back in, and I've had no issues since, so that was on me. But that's something I think you need to be wary of. Next part I found is a bit of a bugbear. Whilst you're wearing the lid and you've got it all clicked in, as you got this on here, I have found a little bit of pressure at this point of the cheek pad. So as I'm moving my head side to side, this is rubbing on my shoulder. So just on the top of my shoulder, as I'm moving left and right, I can just feel pressure. So all I've done is I've pushed this up like that and pushed the clip in, and it seems to get rid of it. So I don't know whether it's because it's still bedding in, but I just found that's a little bit annoying as I'm riding along. And then the next piece, I don't know whether you can see straight inside the lid. I'll lift this up a little bit. Undo this part. So I have found just inside the lid, right here, there's a little tiny pressure point on the crown of my head. Not enough to put me off, but it's just a little tiny pressure point there that is pushing just on the top of my head. Now as I've been riding for a few days, it's starting to ease off. So I'm only going to put that down to the fact that it's bedding in the helmet. It's not uncomfortable, you just know it's there. So I'm trying to be as nitpicky as I can. Right, going on from that, the plus sides of it. In the rain, as you've seen on the videos I put on just, the visor clears exceptionally well with the rain beading. Really can't fault it, and you can see so much with it as well. We had winds of up to about 60 odd miles an hour, and the helmet very rarely buffets, even in that type of conditions. Now on the bike I'm riding, which is a Honda NC750X, we have like a little tiny spoiler for the top of the visor. But even then, on my previous helmet, which is the HJC R4ST, my helmet was getting buffeted around like this all day long. With this, no, it's been pretty stable, and you can feel that the things that you got at the front are doing their job. The summer, so the week previous, we all had that beautiful summer, and I think it was like 24 to 28 degrees. Once you open up that vent and you open up the two rear exhaust vents, I can vouch that the sheer circulation of wind going through that helmet is phenomenal. So much so, at some point on the motorways, I was getting a bit chilly on the top of my head, and I thought, wow, that is exceptional. The other thing I found, forgot to say about a bugbear, I've just thought now, as we're doing the front chin breath guard here, it's all fine as you're pressing on this side, but if you, for some reason, go the other way, as you can see, just flexes. You're not actually shutting the chin guard. So I've found, as a bit of a trick, I run my thumb up the middle, my thumb down the middle, and it seems to work every time regardless. But if you decide to use your right hand, there's flex. Don't know whether you can see from there, but it's just flex and there's no click. That side, prominent click. So that's something to be mindful of. It's a tiny little bugbear, but once it's open, you can feel the air again rushing right up the front of the visor, and all the other vents are working exceptionally well. So I must admit that is a good feature. The internal sun visor, Then you can see it just there, popped it down. It's absolutely crystal clear. When you're riding with the visor in front of it, I found like a little tight, like a grey tinge to the lens, as if it's ever so slightly tinted. Almost looks like it's a little foggy. It's not. It's perfectly clear, but it just adds a little bit of texture to the lens. Once you have it up here, or you're riding in the up position, that sun visor or drop down sun visor is crystal clear, and that's one of the things I really liked about this visor and this helmet in general. The clarity that you're getting from the lenses is exceptional. So I'll move that out of the way. Comfort of the cheek liners. I've been in absolutely horrendously hot, sticky, sweaty weather, and they performed exceptionally well. I never once felt like I was overly stuffy. I never felt like I was over sweating. The pressure points around here that I've had with the likes of Schubert and even me HJCR for ST don't exist. It's just sat there. I can feel the sweat on my brow getting here, but then I can feel the cold of the vents pushing through to the brow, and it was clearing the sweat away. So it was comfortable even in those conditions. Neck roll in the hottest of weathers, apart from this little issue here, everything else feels comfortably fine. I'm not getting pressures here. It's very comfortable, very secure. You get a lot of confidence when it's on. You know it's there, you know it's clicked in place. Exceptional. So I've got to give them 10 points out of that, to be honest. Moving the visor mechanism, up and down, one-handed, not an issue, even with the microphone in. I had a Schubert C3 Basic, and every time I'd done this, and I shut it back down, it'd trap on the microphone. This doesn't, it clears it. So you can do it one-handed down, and it clicks in, either prominent push on the front, or just one hand down, and it's clicking on perfect every single time. I've never had any issues. On the video you might have seen me pushing the front of the visor with my hand, and that was only because of this little issue I found here with the flex in the top of the lens. But the opening and closing of this mechanism is exceptionally well. Right, moving on then, the fitting of the intercom. So I'll just pop this bit off. I'm not going to take the intercom off because I put this bit on now with a sticky pad. But what I have done, if you look at this ridge down here, a slight little difference in texture between the helmet there, I use that as a reference point. Now if I can bring this closer to the camera there, just at the top of that ridge, I put my sticky pad. Underneath, it then runs flush perfectly underneath here, and all the way across around the side, done. Sticky pad on, pushed it all the way down, dead easy to do. The hardest part was changing this from the clamp bracket onto the sticky pad bracket. So just be careful when you're doing it. You've got to push a screwdriver in there quite flat, pop it through, and it'll go off. This clips back on. So working our way around here, I'll take the lining off while we're stood here. So these little things, it's a hook, little point in, right, and they just pop inside those little hooks just there. So once you get that off, you can then pop this out, and all this comes out in one long piece. And this does the cheek pads as well. So we'll slide this out. That goes on a little catch on the neck roll. That pops underneath there as well, and that's that gone. Do the same on this side. Out of that piece, pop it through there. Another little hook again. Lift it up. Pull that out. And that's that done. And then all we do then is pop the whole thing off. So that's the first part out. That's your neck roll done. Then it's just your cheek pads. So they pop out here. And just a bit there. And one at the top. Put that through. There we go. They are quite stubborn. Once again, it is a new helmet. And just this side as well. 1, 2, and a stubborn one again. 3, and all that, as you can see, comes out in one nice continual piece. And the brow vent comes off just there. And brow vent comes off just there. And that's it, all out in one continual manner. So pop these off at the back, see the little clips just there. So top of the headliner and the neck roll and the cheek pads is all one continual piece, which is very good, and all washable as well. So I'll move them out of the way. Inside the helmet now then, one of the good things I did see, the way you can see on the camera, I'll move them out of the way, get the microphone over there, is the little guards there and their little cable lines. Okay, so cheek pads fit in, the speakers, sorry, fit in just nice and neat in there. They pop through, clip in rather nice. Just make sure you run your cable backwards. I'll put that down when I just do that one, sorry. They just clip in there, and then you've got a little gully already built into the helmet and a little securing clip to guide your cables around. So that's what I've done there. Now on this side, where the chin strap goes, what I've done is there's a gap, and you can actually fit all the gubbins of this side of it inside that little hole, and it drops in out the way. Okay, and then the microphone base will just sit in there, and all I've done then is put my cheek pad around, mic through, and wherever you want the pad to go. Okay, it's as simple as that. Everything else then from that point is just tidying up the way you want it to be tidied and tucked out the way. So I'll pause that there, I'll put the helmet back together, and then I'll just finish off. So if only that was that quick to put all the liners back in. It did take me a few minutes. These are a bit fiddly around this side, and there's a little slider bit that you have to push back up underneath there into that part so it locks in and the back clips in better. I'm just thinking, while I put it in, I feel when I just tried it on there that this may be tucked in a bit more. So that issue before might have been caused by me not putting it in properly when I fitted the helmet. Overall, for the price I paid, they're going for $369.99, I think they are, in the shops. And I know I got a little bit of a deal when I bought mine. Is it worth the money? I'd definitely say yes, without a shadow of a doubt. Is it on par with the likes of Shoeberth? Yes, I would definitely say it is. And for the feeling I've had with this one, I'd say it exceeds it as well in so many areas. The visor and the pin lock never seem to have messed up, and the mechanism that you have from the chin guard and stuff feels so much smoother and so much better to use when you are using it. So these movements here are so much better than I felt in my C3 Basic. It also feels lighter, and yeah, I am more than happy with this. I'll see how I go on with any updates, whether I have managed to tuck this out the way. I've still yet to fit the action cameras on top, see how my cameras work, and I'll try and fit one on the side if anyone wants anything on the side fitting as well. But overall, well chuffed with it, well happy. If there's any questions, drop us a message. I'll see what I can do to answer them, and if anyone's interested, good luck, let me know how you get on with it. I'll speak to you soon, guys. Take care.